Life is in relationships. Relationships are life. Welcome to This Is Us podcast, where we share our journey, your journey, our stories, your stories. I am Latoya Berry Jones,
And I am Teddy Jones.
and
And
this
this is
is us.
us.
Welcome, 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 friends, well wishers,
Greetings.
listeners. Good evening and welcome to another episode, actually part two of This Is Us podcast. We are so happy and excited to have you back and also to have back our two last guests from last episode. They're back tonight with us with with part two
Part
of
two of
episode
episode 6.
six, right? So six, right? Six already. Oh my gosh! And
Yes.
so we're so excited to bring back the berries in studio with us. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your well wishes. We really appreciate it every week, each week as we do our episodes. And tonight is no different. We thank you for all our friends and well wishers from Facebook who is listening and watching, those on YouTube and those on Instagram. We are back again. And we have our parents with us tonight.
Hi, mom and
They,
dad.
it's
Good evening. Good evening.
good to have you back with us. Thank you for taking the time out to come back with us to share your part two. Last week we were having a great time, and then we started having some great technical difficulties, but we are back here again tonight to continue the great conversation, the very insightful and edifying conversation that we were having on marriage and the things that marriage is about. And you shared some great nuggets, you shared some true stories.
Right.
And so we're here tonight to continue so that we all, those who are listening, those young people, those people are thinking about getting married, those who are married and have questions and concerns, who are listening, they can hear that, hey, marriage is real, marriage hits the road, there are certain things that happen, but what do we do to have a great marriage when times get tough? How do we continue to have great marriages? We know that life happens, but
Life happens.
marriages can stay together.
Right. Keeping it real
Yes.
as Mr. and Mrs. Berry, Easton Berry, and his wife, Melvin Berry. We actually forgot to tell you just a little bit more about them, just in terms of their professional lives.
We're too excited
Yeah, we were
to
so
have
excited.
them.
We just got going. Right. Mr. Berry, Pastor Berry, pastor of the Snow Hill and Port Antonio circuit of the Church of God 7-Day Council. And he also he was one of the managers and trainers with Heart NSTA at the Port Antonio branch office. And father of 3 girls. And Mrs. Berry, assistant general manager at the Portland Cooperative Credit Union, the graduate of FIU, and a tremendous evangelist, uh, prayer
Indeed.
warrior, and a great mother. I'm absolutely proud to call her mom my mother-in-law, and they are here with us on This Is Us.
Right. So we're going to jump right in to continue where we left off last week, actually. So the question was posed to the couple. We were talking about their having been married for 37 years. What happened in all those 37 years? Was it all good? Was it all rosy? Are you still on the moon? And after having children, a career, so many things happen. So many things can happen in 37 years. And we asked the couple the question. Yes, we know that marriage is an absolute great thing, and there's so many highs that happen in marriages, and there are also the flip sides, so many lows that also can happen. And because life happens, and because it's a journey, and we just want to find out from the couple, those low moments, those doubting moments, those hard times, or that hard time from your own experience this far, to share with us tonight some of the low times, but through it all, you still decided to stick together. You were committed, even though you had those difficult periods.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good evening. Thank you for having us for the second time. And
Absolutely, our pleasure.
back a little before we got married. That was in a time when we were having making the plans for marriage.
Okay.
Just like a month or so before, my position where I was working then was made redundant.
Oh my goodness. You're 1 month away from getting married and you're out of a job.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so you can imagine having these big plans and
Yes.
out of a job. And we're thinking, what do we do now? And I can recall that one day, well, it wasn't my wife, but
Like to be.
to me, right? She got some good news from me, and she came home and told me that somebody from the place where I would have worked, it was looking for me. And I went while I was going on the taxi, and I was telling the taxi driver what was happening. He said to me, and I can never forget, I remember the first time I was hearing this. He said, what is feel can't be unfeel.
Indeed.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Just stick a pin there, Pops. Just stick a pin. Because this podcast is international. So just to translate that bit of classical Jamaican patois, what that means is, or in
Whatever is meant for you,
right,
it has to be. There's
has
no-
to be, yeah, or what is for you
Yes.
must be for you.
You
All
know,
right, say it again. Say it
For the
again in patois.
translation.
Because the international community loves the Jamaican language. So say it again in patois. I know that we've given them the standard translation.
what is feel can't be unfeel. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Right. And by the grace of God, I was I got back a job. Got back the job, yes. And so we got married on the 8th of September, 1985.
That's a long time.
Yes.
37 years.
Mm-hmm.
It has been an exciting journey. And when I think about it, as I recall, one of the lowest points was when I lost my job. So the same job that I got.
Irony.
Yes,
You lost it, you got it back, and then you lost it again.
it was indeed a very low moment. Things were rough. You can imagine having a job and now out of a job. We had the 3 children to send to school, mortgage to pay, bills to pay, and all the other things to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
It was just now one salary,
Right.
my wife's salary alone. And at the time I felt like I was out of it, really out of it. And after some time, I think about a year or so, my wife said to me, but because she didn't like seeing me around, not doing anything like that. And she got the idea and saying I should go to JTS. And
JCS.
yes, Jamaica Theological Seminary.
Right.
Institution in Jamaica and the world.
Yes.
Indeed. And I think she was the one who brought the application to me, and I filled it out, I applied, and got into JTS. There I was on a 4-year journey. My wife at home, the 3 children taken care of, an unfinished house,
Right.
and everything else. And all through this, she stood tall. She was able to hold the family, to keep the family together. One of the things, I think one of the best things or the greatest things that my wife has ever done for me is that, you know, having lost a job and all of that, you know, you can feel, emasculated, not
Right.
cannot fend for your family, can't provide for your household that you ought to be doing. And this wonderful lady of mine, you know,
Yes, big her up, yes.
Your queen. Big up your queen, yes.
and salary, she took it home,
Yeah.
allowed me to spend the money as if I was the one who was working. And you know, that was one of the greatest things that she has ever done for me. She didn't let me feel anyway like you know,
Less than a man.
it's not a man.
Yeah, yeah. That is critical. You know, I mean, that is something to celebrate.
Yes.
It is indeed.
And through it all, you know, we were able to pull through until those years were finished. And I came home and got myself in a job.
What a success story.
It is. It is.
See, and then I'm thinking that a lot of times people see the now, see how you're walking in your success, but didn't know how you got to that place.
Exactly.
And so I'm thinking as to in relationships, in marriages, people see 2 seemingly happy people who are committed to each other and who decide on building, but they just do not know the back end, the back office, all the hard work, all the failure, all the situations that the couple had to deal with from the back end to make them look good up front. And so people may think that, you know, marriage, if one thing goes wrong, we should call it quits because it can't be fixed, or I'm not going to put up with that. Because if we put out a poll and babe, I don't know if you want to put out a poll now, we could put out a poll to see how many women now would do something.
Right. Right. We'll get that up. We'll get that up during the week and see what the responses are like.
Yes, we will do a poll to find out. So you were at school, you were studying for 4 years. So it's not like she met you as a student. She met you as a working man.
A working man.
A working man.
Yeah.
So she met you and knew that you could have met her halfway, even though 100 and 100 plus 100. So it's not 50-50, it's 100 plus 100. So she met you working. You guys had plans, as you said before. You're on the journey of marriage, had all your goals, all your aspirations, everything that you want to achieve together. And you were doing that. And here comes unemployment in the middle of things. You said in the middle of building a house, we know how stressful that can be. In the middle of raising children, we know how additionally stressed out, you know, a person can be. And then there goes just one income. Or we can just imagine all the emotional highs and lows that especially a woman can go through. But then to find that, yes, she's dealing with that, have to deal with that and have to handle that, but still in the midst of it, her husband is still her husband.
Right.
She still keeps him up. She still lets him look good in public and in private.
Yeah.
How many women would do that? And mother, the question to you is, what led you to do that? You know, to still,
precisely.
what led you?
Yeah,
so we need to hear the women
need to hear that.
as wives, as aspiring wives. What led you to do that? So yes, you're my husband, no matter what. See my salary here. Who does that? Who does that? And what led you to do it?
Okay. You know, and just before you respond, Mom, Natalie Aiken Excel says she's viewing on Facebook. Big up, Natalie.
I think that's Mom's niece.
Okay.
From Canada, yeah.
She says I remember. So she remembers that period in your guys' journey, you know, in your story. She remembers, you know, so it's not anything made up, and she remembers that point in time. So yeah, Mom, how did you do it? Why did you do it? I mean, you could have.
What led you to do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
Well, yes, being married for it was about maybe 10 years there.
Well, Dad said that you had the 3 kids by this time, eh? So
it was about 16 out of the 37 years.
Right.
So so when that happened, we were just going through the motion, and then because I know he has potential, and I was looking at having how do we make the transition from being a customer service person to a different job, different orientation altogether, because he was moving from a customer service supervisor, a theologian and a counselor.
Right.
And I saw the potential in him, and I was wondering, how is it? How am I going to do it? But I always think positive. I guess it's the persons that I work with, because I am a financial manager, and because how I'm trained, I always transfer my training into my life. So I see him graduating with in guidance and counseling, of course.
Right.
And I see it in my vision, and I think that I should seek to get him into an institution. Now I looked at 3 institutions, and I chose JTS. And when I went home and showed him, and because I got all the information, the facts, before we took the decision, and he said, "Honey, I don't think you should worry to send me, because it would make sense, because you are not going to be able to do it based on where we are at."
Yeah.
And your salary, we're not able to make, you won't be able to finance me. So I don't think you should bother to let.
That's the pragmatic side of the meal. That's how we are wired.
Men are usually logical.
Right, exactly.
Work with them, because when they look at the maths, they don't see where to take the first step. But we can do the prodding. We can cheer them along and say, yes, you can do it. And I said to him, "Honey, just start. We will finish." And happily, my family members also assisted me. I remember that he had a small credit card, and I made sure I paid that off from my credit union, of course. So I made sure.
Of course.
Package the loans in one.
Yes.
I paid those loans from my credit union. And along with family members assisted me along this journey. Sometimes he could not come home every weekend, because we did not have the traveling expense. We did not have the funds to cover his traveling, because he was traveling from over 66 miles to get to the training institution, to the college. So he has to stay where he was boarding. So I get to see him sometimes every other week or every week. It depends on how funds were.
Right.
But and what happened during this time, I still go to church. We worship because I have duties at church, and I ensure that that was still done. And we were kept happy. The family was kept happy, and my three girls. And sometimes I became, sometimes it was lonely. I have lonely nights
Yes.
because I trust God. I was anticipating the time when my husband will return from full-time study in college.
Yeah.
So the women nowadays, they have maybe a better time because their husbands now, if anything like this should happen, they can study online. They can have their husband at home.
Right.
Exactly.
They have to leave out of the house
Yes.
and go. And then sometimes the time lapse, it was really long to see him again.
Right.
That was 4
The
years.
sacrifice, yeah. We spoke a lot about the importance of making sacrifices
Yeah.
in having a long and lasting marriage. And that was another sacrifice that you guys had to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing now that made me give my salary, I always, as the Bible said, that the man is the head of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is the leader. And I didn't want to see him waiting to be given something from me. Or I didn't want the children to start coming to me because I used to go to him for lunch money.
Uh-huh.
Go and they always go to daddy. So
That is true.
it's good. It's Latoya.
That is true.
You
And
went
at that
for
time, we didn't even know that daddy was handling the salary because daddy always has the money. So everything is daddy. Daddy, can I have this? Can I have that? So it was always daddy, and
Right.
it had never stopped. So we didn't have any clue that, hey, daddy's not on anything because mommy didn't made it seem that way. So it was
Right.
still always daddy, even during that time.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
get my salary, I gave it to him, and he gave me what he's supposed to take me. I took what he's supposed to take me to work for the month, and he spent everything else. He was the one who handled the funds, send the children, will give them lunch money, buy what they need, buy their uniform, buy their school shoes. But I let him feel that way, and
Yeah.
I let him look like the man of the house.
Right. Right.
Let me just interject here, babe.
What's the love? What's the love?
No, I have to laugh because she mentioned a lot of things. She mentioned the word potential.
Yes.
She mentioned the word the leader of the house, the man
And
of
vision. Vision. Yep.
Yeah, and she saw him graduating. But
Right.
I am looking at our society now, and it's not no made up story. Mother, if you were in this day, they would call you a yam head because
no.
yam
There
head,
you go.
they would call you a yam head because no, that is a very no, not me.
Yeah,
type of thing.
that's,
No. The man has to have this and the man has to have that.
Yes.
And no, me no want no man with potential. Me no want no potential man.
Potential can't go to supermarket. Potential can't buy wig.
Right. You get me? But when you know what you want and you know what it takes to get it, and you know the sacrifice, the commitment that is needed, sometimes you have to look beyond your pride, because trust me, you have to look beyond your pride. And then marriage is a serious thing. It's hard work. It's hard. Having married for 10 years. It is hard work. It's hard work. So when I listen to the story, I'm saying, boy, you really stay true. You really stay true to him, because those looking from outside say, boy, this look good, man. No, have it all together. Everything good. You never hungry. You never go one day without this, without that, because you never made it seem that way. And I was on the inside and looking, even when I was on the inside, if I want a shoe, I get it. If I want this, so it to the children, it seemed like everything was good because you made it happen. And so, having that togetherness, and that, because it must have taken commitment. You made up your mind from before that, hey, it's going to take 4 years and I want to see him be better. And so you waited with him and you toughed out the times with him. And that is a true test to, any successful and great and long lasting marriage. So this is a very good, very good to hear. Very good to hear. So all those who are listening, I'm taking notes. I'm still talking to myself that, hey, it takes a lot out of you and you have to be selfless. Mom, you mentioned the word selfless last week.
Yep.
That you have to be selfless and you can't say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and we can't take the road off. It has to be 50-50 because at one point in your life, it wasn't 50-50, it was nothing from one side, but you are here 37 years.
Yes, and in all of this, I am someone who is who get exposure because of work. So I also got offers and I refused them. So I just want others to know that sometimes not everything that glitters is gold, and we have to be committed to the one who we love.
When you say get offers, tell us what you mean.
Yeah, you mean job offers?
When you say offer, what does that mean?
Job offers?
Job offer? A job offer what?
Another
what?
job?
Tell us your story, Melvine.
Remember, and this is our stories, your story.
Yeah.
Persons with resources, a lot of resources would have come along and made their offer, and I turned it down.
What persons?
Committed. Yes.
You mean like a business owner with resources? What person?
Yes. Resources, a lot of money, a lot of assets. They would have made proposal and I turned it down because I am committed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Good stuff.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Wow.
Good
Right.
stuff.
And I want to just zero in a little bit again, and just to reiterate the importance of you taking the step that you took to protect your husband's ego and to protect the image of your husband in front of the children. Sometimes we forget how important it is to protect each other before the children. And I really want to commend you for that. The practical things that you did to ensure that there was nothing that would diminish the image of dad that your husband would have to diminish that in the eyes of the children. Because sometimes we cut down each other in front of the children. We say demeaning stuff to and about each other in front of the children. And it's something that we have to be very mindful of. The other thing I noticed is that you must have trusted your husband that he would make wise decisions with the money. Because you said that after you took out what was necessary to get you back to work and carry you through the month, you allowed him to manage everything else. And that shows, I believe, that you trusted his financial stewardship, his how he handled money, right? And again, that is something that is absolutely important. Now,
and as I said before, Rev, that we are to think. This is how we are to think we are to think as a unit,
right?
Right, because the family is a unit. The husband and wife is a unit. So if one person is earning, if there's only one income, then the income is not the wife's income or the husband's income, it's the family's income.
Yeah.
So this is what we are to learn as well, because there are some women who think that they should put away their money or hide it away and the man alone spend, but they should pull funds and then take care of the family's expenses so that there will be no strain on any one party. So, right.
No, it's very interesting that you brought this up, because while we were preparing and even while we were on the show last week, I had persons interacting with this this scenario that is connected to what you just said. How persons view how a couple should share their financial responsibilities, and there were different views. So the scenario I had posted was that the man earns $200,000 a month. The wife is earning, I think it was $600,000 a month. Just figures, representative figures. But the important thing is that the woman was earning 3 times as much as the man, and their rental was equal to the man's monthly salary. So the man is earning 200,000 a month, and their rent is 200,000 a month, while the woman is earning 600,000 a month. And the question was, who should pay? And the responses were varied. Right? You shared your approach, your perspective. Some persons felt that the man should still pay the rent. But if he does that, that leaves him with $0, right? Some felt that they should combine and buy a house together instead of paying rent. But then, of course, if they don't buy that house in cash, there is still a mortgage. So the question still remains: well, who then would pay the mortgage? The big point is there are different views on this matter, right? But some people feel that it should be all on one person, whether it is the man or whether it is the woman alone. Some feel that there should be 50-50. And then, of course, there are different percentages. But why do you believe in the position that you have shared just now?
I think, just personally, based on how marriage was built, because when as I said, the money should be pooled, and then the expenses come from it. So if the man only earned 200,000 and the rent is 200,000, then it should not be seen as the man paying the 200,000. The money should pool the woman's funds, and then the expenses are paid from it. And then whatever for savings should be in both of them name at a bank. So at no time one of them should have an account by themselves. They should always be sharing accounts. You see, even the law of the country or in our nation, if there's information, the assets and the finance have to be shared. So why not share it from where I live it together? As if anything can happen, it has to be shared.
All right. So are you saying, let me make sure I'm hearing you clearly and we are hearing you clearly. Are you saying that neither of the partners should have an individual account, that they must have joint accounts, and neither of them should have a separate account?
That's my recommendation, unless they have a business, or they would have a commitment from other, because there are persons, because we don't want to break families either, because maybe he may have a mother or someone that he is responsible for.
Right.
Him coming into the marriage would have to let that be known, so that this account was there to help my mom or my sister, whoever. Let it be known, so they were a part of that account. So if that is the case before marriage, then it can continue. But coming into marriage, then you should share an account. So if anything happens, you know where to go. Because I've seen persons break up, and the woman is crying that they don't have money to buy food for the baby because her husband break off, that he has left. So I said, she go to the bank and withdraw the money. She said, no, miss, the money is in his name alone.
Right.
So allow that. Allow for it. It is not that he didn't have money. He has money. He is wealthy. And he marries to this girl, and they separated, not for long, just like within a month. She didn't have any fun because he refused to maintain the children. And she said to me, my name is not on the...
Right, she has no joint.
Not allowed that. It should be right
joint access.
from day one. From the beginning of the marriage, you should have your name there. My husband, before we got married, he took me to his bank and placed my name on it before the wedding day.
Okay.
So if You should just go and withdraw what you need for the children.
Right.
So we should start it right so we can it right.
Yeah. But then
Very
again,
educational, very informative.
right, absolutely. In practical terms, though, what kind of guidelines and guiding principles should govern such joint accounts? Because I mentioned the fact just now, and I mean, I don't want us to miss it.
Okay.
You obviously trusted dad's financial stewardship. Some persons have a fear that if the account is joint, that one person may be responsible in how they utilize the funds that are in that account. So what are some of the guiding principles that where that is done to ensure that you don't have that kind of thing happening?
Okay. What should establish is honesty, transparency, and
Trust.
and the trust.
Yeah.
And they should know the reason why this account is established.
Okay.
And when you get married, you are in a building mode. It's not just a relationship you're building now. We are going to build other things.
Yes.
And in the relationship, we are going to build our wealth. We are going to build for our children. And when we pool our funds, there has to be transparency. So you should not just go withdraw money and spend wildly and go on the North Coast and buy a number of things that are not meaningful. So if you're going to just make this big spending, you're going to have some family time on the North Coast, it should be shared. It should be communicated that we are going to have fun, we are going to celebrate our anniversary, and this is what and in fact, that should be in our budget. I'm a financial advisor. So our socialization, our vacation expense should be monthly. So we should not get up at the end of August because end of September because it's an anniversary. Pressure the man. Take me to the hotel North Coast, and you didn't put aside some from January. So both the man and woman should be setting aside at least 2,000 monthly, 2,000 from you, 2,000 from him. That's 4,000 monthly. So by the end of September, 4 nines, that will be there to cover the hotel fee.
Right. Planning, eh?
Stick up in there, Mom. Stick up in there. We're just going to take a quick break. And we'll be right back to pick up where we left off. So we'll be back.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome back, folks. We are back with you. Easton Berry, Melvine Berry, 37 years of marriage. Back with us again, sharing with us on the topic, long and lasting love, the infusion. What holds it together? What makes it work? What are some of the challenges that they have had to overcome? And how did they overcome? What about money? Very often a deal breaker. We've been talking about money management and how money should be handled in a marriage. And they are sharing some we're keeping it real, sharing practical stuff, guiding principles. And Mom, Mrs. Berry was just talking with us about how couples can plan around savings towards particular goals and about saving towards the things that you want to build together as a couple. So back to you.
So right now, just now before the break, I felt as if I was in accounts class and I was trying to brush off the accounts.
I know, right?
A little bit of the accounts class is that, in high school. So very informative, very important. As she mentioned, marriage is not just about building the relationship, but building other things. She mentioned growing wealth, maintaining wealth, especially for children. And she was saying, savings is very important. And then we should have parts of it should be about for entertainment and so on. So Mom, yes, you were giving us some information about, how to save, even if it's small, for whatever it is that our goals are.
Yes, so no
The
time
discipline, right?
we should compare our lives with other person's lives.
Thank you for that.
Say that again.
Yes.
Don't compare your life
With
as a
other
couple
people's
with
lives.
other people's lives.
We have
Thank you for that.
children going to high school
Right.
and would have passed their GSAT or the new one as a SLEP. Right. We're going to spend 5 years in high school. So both parents should start saving incrementally, monthly, for the child's education. So we know that if they used to go to hotel every year, then they may have to cut it out.
Right.
If the child has to go to college.
Sacrifice again.
Right. So they have to start saving, as I said, monthly for the child's education. They have to, and I said they should build in some vacation for yourself because they say we have to keep the spice in your life. So, right. So we have to have some time for fun.
Right.
So even if we are not able maybe to go to the hotel, we can go go somewhere. We can maybe take some time off and go for a nice walk and talk and look at nature. Eh? We have nice green areas where we can walk and talk because we cannot go to a hotel because we have the children to go to school and we have to give them priority. So it boils down to priority as well. So we cannot compare when you see persons pitched up and you see sometimes when the people show these photographs, what is happening at home is very different from what we are seeing. And some persons will run their credit card to go to these places. Right. And we think that we are not able to afford it. And they did not afford it. They just use a credit card. Right. And the credit card should be used with prudence. Because if we don't pay the date on the date, there's a cost.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We're getting some real gems here.
$3,000 for late fee. And if we pay late for 12 months, it's 312.
That's $36,000. That could go a far way towards the child.
For a night. Take you to hotel for a night.
There you go.
Expensive. Save the $3,000 monthly, or make it up to $4,000, and then you go. Don't pressure the husband when a vacation comes around when you did not make any preparation. So both of us are in it together. We both should plan and prepare and save incrementally. Because like me, I know that a number of persons did not born with gold spoon in our mouth. We did not born and come and find any resources. We have to make them, build them. So we have to build wisely.
Right. Excellent. There's a question here for you. Question from Debbie K. Foster on Facebook. Big up yourself, Debbie. Another JTS
Hi, Debbie.
alumnus.
JTS grad.
Yeah, man. Big up to the JTS massive. Well, thanks for your support. So, a question from Debbie is: how many accounts do you recommend?
Okay, I recommend 2 accounts. I recommend accounts for your long-term plans. And like the salary account is where you spend your monthly expenses from your grocery, your health bills, or essentials. So I recommend 2 accounts. You need to have an account that you don't have a card for. Because we in the financial institution,
I like that.
The psyche of persons. When you spend a card, you tend to spend more. So we encourage persons to stash away some money in an account that you don't have a card for. Okay, because there are persons who are not disciplined. And when you go to the supermarket or you go to shop for clothes items, then you tend to want to spend more than what you have made your budget.
Your plan, yeah. Throw your budget out of what. And you know, by the way, I learned this recently that there is actually a psychology of how the shops and the supermarkets are stocked
Merchandise.
out. Yeah, how the merchandise is stocked out in the supermarket, that it's set up deliberately to actually get you to spend more. So the things that people would need, in order to get to it, you have to walk past a lot
The
of the
things that
things
you
that
want.
you don't need.
Yeah.
So you see, and you take it up. You're going for something that you need, like a case of water, for example. Right? One of the things probably the thing I go to the supermarket for the most, a case of water. I'm going to get water for the house, and that's what I'm going for. But to get to the water, I have to walk past a number of other things, and I'm like, this, and I went for the water. It's really true. I went for the water, but then I'm cashing out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other things, right? And the things that throw the budget out of whack. So it's already difficult as it is. So you're saying practically keep one account that you don't have that access card to.
Yes. So my recommendation for that person, as you get your salary, transfer that amount for your savings to that account.
Right.
To your savings account.
Right.
Transfer that as immediately so that you don't see it. And then you would have supposed to, and it is recommended that you save at least 10%. You pay yourself first. It is recommended you pay yourself first, even before you pay your rent. Pay yourself first. So transfer that 10%, and they said the maximum it should be 20%, so 10 to 20% of your salary in an account that you don't have a card for, access card. So you will do that, and then you add up. So suppose you transfer 5,000 monthly. At the end of the year, you would have 6.
Yeah.
2 years, you would have 120.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're gonna have you come back, Mrs. Berry, by yourself for a specific episode about financial matters.
Yes, for
so
sure.
this is just the precursor to that particular episode.
You can find me at Portland Cooperative Credit Union.
So the credit union.
Yes,
of course. Yeah, man.
Portland Cooperative Credit Union.
Yes, definitely.
Pre-commercial.
Yeah. A quick commercial word for the Portland Cooperative Credit Union. But that's our credit union. We love them, and they are a part of our lives. Dad, question for you. You mentioned that job loss came, but when that job loss that brought you to JTS came, you already had the 3 children. You finished and moved into the guidance counseling, the vocational counseling, managing the hearts, helping to manage a heart center, pastoring 2 churches, parenting 3 girls, and at the time still a relatively young marriage. The juggling, how did you do it? The multiple responsibilities and the parenting, the challenges of pastoral ministry, and the vocation, the career that has its own demands. Some people are asking, like, how do you manage all of those competing priorities in a marriage?
Wow. In fact, it is hard work. It is hard work, and you have to know how to balance it, because you see, what we learn is that the first ministry is a home.
Yes.
The family is the first ministry, and I have come to believe that and support that and endorse that. So I at all times, I make sure that the family is taken care of, my immediate family.
Yeah.
Right. The church, well, thank God you have support, and that's the thing about support. When from the biblical perspective, with Moses, and when his father-in-law saw that the task was too great for him, he said that his men were able to assist with the work.
Yeah.
So that's what it was for. So you have people who, and it's a matter of dedicating.
Yeah.
Right? Don't take on everything because you will die. Right? Ministry will kill you if you don't, if you're not careful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then too, you have to know that person said, all right, yes, it's a large work you're doing, and you're expected to be there. And you have some persons, I tell you that I've had experience. You have some persons who know that you have a family, they know that you have a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
But still yet, you are the one, not saying that when it's not of the past, you should not, but you are the one who should always do the calling.
Right.
And if you don't call, then they are upset.
Yeah, like them can call too, right?
Things. In to visit and just visit.
Yes. No, you haven't been visited if person don't visit you. You don't know that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Pastors to be at every doctor's appointment, hospital, prayer meeting, blessing of house and children, and all that prayer meeting, the children sleeping on the bench. I can raise my hand. I remember those days. Yes, man.
Yes.
All that prayer meeting have to be there.
Yeah.
Wait.
And last to leave the church when everybody has gone home.
Leave the church, you know?
Last to leave the compound.
And again, my wife is my, I was like, right hand and left hand and right foot and
right foot.
Because she supports the ministry, supports well in the ministry, very, very well. And so we are able to work through things, you know, going along, balancing it and making sure that nothing gets left behind. Everything gets its fair share of attention.
Right.
Learning together. We and the children.
Yeah.
We and the children, indeed.
Yeah, it helps. It helps when, I mean, that support it can be emphasized enough. And again, we're not saying that supporting your spouse necessarily means being involved and doing the same thing that they do. In the case of mom and dad here, mom is involved in the ministry as well.
They were in it together.
Right? So it doesn't necessarily, I don't want persons to think that we're suggesting that you, if, in order to support your partner, your spouse, you have to do the same things. That's not what we are saying, because it is more about the attitude. It is more about the communicating.
Yeah.
Look, we are in this together. Right. So even though you may not necessarily be able to and want to do the exact same thing, the whole idea is more about the sense of being there for the each other, and the sense of communicating that, look, this is what we are doing together as a family, and this is how we are going to support each other as a family. Yeah,
because she's very discerning. And she has a 360, what do you call it now? Vision. And she's the one, right? She always, she sees things and makes suggestions, give good advice and things like that.
And also, to me, Reverend Jones, it feels good to know that your husband is impacting lives positively.
Right.
Then if I'm not able to be there, I will support him. I'll cheer him on.
Yes.
If he needs to go somewhere to minister the word or to give counseling, I will just be okay at home with my children.
Bring him up in your own corner.
Happy for him when he comes back home. Give him the smile. Let him feel as if even though he has been away, that I'm here ready for him, and be Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The cheerleading, yeah.
Yeah.
And exactly that's the point. Even though you are not physically there, but he knows that while he is out there doing his thing, that there is that support from back home.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. Any final words
Yes.
for young couples, especially for couples who might be struggling to just find that balance, or even those who are doing well? A word of encouragement from each of you. Final words as we wrap up. For now, because we'll definitely have you back again in different capacities with your family, and you are with us. And again, it makes a point. You are supporting us as your children on this journey
Yeah,
of
for sure.
final words.
Yes, my final word to couples. One thing that keeps marriage together is prayer, devotion. Please find time to do your devotion, whether you're going to do it in the morning or in the evenings or both times. I know that some couples are busy, so it will not be sometimes convenient because you have to be up early and for the children, get the children ready. But find time to spend together, do some devotion, and sometimes some things comes out that enrich the relationship. And when the relationship is enriched, everything else is enriched. That's my.
All right, good. Thank you.
What I would like to say to couples is stick to your vows. The vows that you make before man and God. They are serious vows. For better or worse, richer or poor, sickness or in health. I say those vows. Okay? Things won't be all that smooth and okay all the days of your life. Marriage is hard work, and the two of you, two persons, you have to work on it. Work on it. To make the marriage work. Whatever you have, you can work together to build your marriage. Love each other, support each other, be each other's cheerleader. Okay? And let there be all the things, because I've said to somebody recently, if your marriage is going through problems and you're the only two persons that can make it work, because the best expert in counseling and all of that, but it boils down to the two persons. You two will have to make your marriage work.
Okay, I have something else to say. I said those were my last words, but I have something else to say. Just want to say, ladies who are listening tonight, just like how we need attention from our husbands, they also need our attention. So I am
here.
come back to my 37 years that I always think that I should always get the attention, but after I start giving it, I start getting more. So if you need more, give more. It
Give
is
more. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
Wow,
What's a note to end on? If you need more, give more.
yeah.
What a mouth.
Happy, be pleasant in the home, smile with them, and let the love be reciprocal and the attention. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a mouthful. I have written down some notes, some nuggets. I have learned a lot from you tonight. And it has been very, very, very edifying, very interesting, very interactive. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, as this is what we are about, and this is us. Thank you for sharing your journey, your stories with us tonight. I'm sure a lot of us have learned a lot, even though I'm your daughter, but it felt good, it felt refreshing, to hear that marriage can work, marriages go through things, marriages can survive. And you have said it tonight, how you can survive, the things, some of the practical things that we can do with our partners, to make our marriages thrive, not only to say I'm married for 37 years or how many years, but to have a thriving marriage. to have a lively marriage, you know, and it's very refreshing to just hear you coin your stories tonight with us. And I really appreciate it, Mommy and Dad. I really appreciate you too for sticking it out together so that we can see, so that we have an example. And you know that your 3 girls are married, and you know we are watching you still. So just know that we are still watching you. We appreciate the love, the effort, the commitment, the sacrifices that you guys made and that you guys are still making for us, because we are a support system. And so I just want to make that clear and that public tonight, that yes, you are still supporting us in everywhere. We appreciate you right down. Appreciate all your effort and your work. You know, you are the mommy and daddy that rally around your big adult children same way and say, you know, put you in our place. Yes, if we need to be. Yes, yes. And so we appreciate that we are real, and yes, we do things family, and we are about family. We're about sticking together, even when the time rough and thick and thin, and when things thin out and there's nothing else, you know. Mommy and daddy say, yeah, man, you know, it's family, we have to stick together. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all those who tuned in and listened and watched us on This Is Us. We appreciate you. Remember to send your feedback, your comments, and, you know, enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your week. Thank you from This Is Us. Good night.
Man. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, Latoya.
My co-hosts have seemed to gone away. Co-host, are you there?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. All right.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Remember.
Bye.
Remember, take care until next time. Keep safe. Keep the love. Love God. Love each other. And let's make this world a better place. I'm Teddy Jones.
I'm Latoya Berry Jones.
And
This is us.
Cheers.